Good afternoon, everyone. This is the CHN Gang podcast, Health Conversations Without Barriers. Today, we're going to be talking about thoughts and emotions, how thoughts and emotions, negative thoughts and emotions specifically, are linked to disease and negative health outcomes in general. We've all had days where we have negative thoughts, especially these last 2 years. Many lives have changed, some for the worse. Unfortunately, we've all had these experiences. So, how are emotions and disease connected? Negative emotions, attitudes, and thoughts can cause chronic stress. Chronic stress can take years off of the human lifespan. Studies have shown that chronic stress shortens the length of our telomeres. And telomeres are the caps at the end of the DNA strands. So the longer your telomeres are, the more life you have left to live. As you age, your telomeres get shorter and shorter, just as a natural aging process. Once they're over, you die. And these chronic stress can cause these telomeres to shorten faster, which basically makes you die quicker. So we're gonna get into chronic stress. Has anyone had any experience briefly with chronic stress, and how has that impacted their health? Just really quickly.
So for me, chronic stress, it kind of affects me in two ways. One, I kind of take it on myself. So I decide to, because I'm stressed, I need to get rid of what's giving me the stress. So that means if it's work, all right, that means I'm going to sleep 4 hours the night so I can get up early in the morning, do things. And then if it's school, that means I'm going to pull an all nighter. I take it on myself, which is really hard on my body and my mind, and I become very snappy with people. And then I later on I start apologizing like, "Oh, it's not you." And I need to tell people it's not you, it's not you, it's me right now. It's me today. It's me today. And it's not what they're telling me or how they're behaving. And another thing, I am a binge eater, so I've gone to counseling for binge eating disorder and stress makes me eat. So I can eat a family size pizza, which I've done it, and then a Bluebell ice cream, family size half a gallon. I had to go to counseling for that because obviously it's not good for my mind. I was not well, so I learned that relieving stress and finding other ways to do exercising that calms me down and it makes obviously my blood pressure much better.
Yeah, so definitely that can bring to a lot of different diseases, not just stress, but any type of disease is connected to the way we're thinking, the way we what we put out in the universe, whether it's positive or negative energy. And these days, it's a lot. We're focusing a lot on mental health, and it very influencing our physical health as well. So here at CHN, we're treating them with a connection of physical health and mental health. That is very important to keep your mind straight, to keep your mind right. And that's how we can prevent some of our diseases.
Those are excellent points. Yeah, there's a big connection that I think is not often touched on a lot as far as the mind and how it connects to your body. Like Oka was saying, Mariella touched on how stress can manifest into other conditions as well. They may not necessarily be chronic in the way the heart disease is, but they can also affect you as well. These things, they bleed into other parts of our lives. So now we're going to get into why do stress and emotions affect our health? So how are these what makes them even relate to each other and affect one another? So much like negative thoughts and emotions, unmanaged stress can lead to high blood pressure, damaged arteries, irregular heart rhythms, and weaker immune systems. So a lot of times when you're suffering with through one of these ailments, it will manifest in your body. So some people get like chronic acne if they're stressed, or they have a hormone situation going on that changes their internal composition, it'll manifest as like acne. So it's the same kind of thing with stress. When you're stressed, it'll manifest in a different way outside on your body. It can impact you day to day. So how to manage your stress, right? So we have these negative thoughts and emotions. We all have stress day to day. How do we manage it? So here are a couple of things. I'm gonna get into a couple of things, and we'll all get to touch on that briefly. So say no to people. I think we live in a a society where it's go, 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 go. You might feel bad if you don't show up, but sometimes we have to not show up and show up for ourselves. So say no to people. And establishing boundaries is what that touches on. Relaxing, of course, just calming down, getting regular exercise. You don't have to be the rock to be exercising. Just get a nice walk in, 30 minutes. Studies have shown that that is effective in reducing stress. Therapy, of course, talk therapy has been helpful for a lot of people, and studies have the literature supports that. So, are there any ways that people have been able to manage their stress or thoughts and emotions that have had positive outcomes for them?
So yes, I just want to say one more way to help stay healthy with your mind is to actually control your thinking. It's about what you think, how you wake up in the morning, what kind of energy you put in there. So I wanted to bring in this one book that is actually very relevant to our topic, and it's called As a Man Thinketh. It's by James Allen, and it was written in 1902, so almost 120 years ago, but it's still very relevant because it talks about the basic ways how the universe works, how our world works, and how we can manage and help our life with the power of thought. So I wanted to read some quotes that I thought was very interesting. So, one of them, he says that disease and health, like circumstances, are rooted in thought. Sickly thoughts will express themselves through a sickly body. Thoughts of fear have been known to kill a man as speedily as a bullet, and they are continually killing thousands of people. Pretty much, he's saying that any type of negative thought will somehow relieved in our physical body, that we will see it come out as some kind of disease. But he also saying that the body is the servant of the mind. It obeys the operations of the mind. Quality of life we can change by changing our thinking.
And that's a very great point. A lot of what we perceive our life to be starts in our mind. And I think that's a concept that can be kind of difficult to understand because growing up, you kind of were told to stay out of your head and be in reality. And then kind of find that in studies, there are studies that are showing that it's quite the opposite. And a great way to kind of set those intentions to keep your mind in a great place consistently, you have to keep maintaining that. It's a daily thing. It's kind of like exercise, but for your mind and setting those intentions. Those are great points, and thank you for sharing those.
Piggybacking on the first part where you were saying setting boundaries. So Elizabeth Adasico, one of our counselors, she gets requested to teach for counseling on setting boundaries. So we are gonna get her on another podcast for her to teach us how to set boundaries. And I think that when I listen to her and I learn how to set some boundaries for myself because I and I recognize it. She said the first thing is recognizing that you have a problem saying no. And I do. So we're gonna get her, and I think she teaches people how to set boundaries. So we're gonna get her, and I think it's gonna be awesome for the next one. The other thing is going based on what Olga said that the mind controls the body. That is true because I remember. Do you guys remember watching the Tyra show? Do you guys not? Okay. So I learned a psychologist went in there and he said that if, as a woman, if you tell your mind, I'm pregnant, your body will obey. So your body will stop giving you your period and will give you nausea, will give you dizziness because your mind is telling your body you're pregnant, but you're not.
Oh my
So
God, that is
I
crazy.
said, I know. I said, this is a lie. I tried it when I was like 15, 16. It's true. I can tell you guys that it's true.
It is true. So I just want to make another point that even modern physics sees the universe differently these days. So the concept has changed the way how we see the material world. So even in science, the physics is saying that our world is everything is bundles of energy, which we are as well as humans, and we have a lot of positive and negative energy goes through us every day, and it's only in our hands to control that energy and to put it into the right way to change our life to better, and we can also change our life to worse with that as well. So we have to be mindful and careful of what we think and how we treat our mind and body.
Yes, there's an interconnected nature to reality as well as us and plants and all of that. And modern physics has examined that as well, and everything kind of it all comes back to health, and that relates to CHN's policy of whole person care and just connecting all of those different facets of health together to provide the best care.
So one of the things we have learned from social determinants of health, right? So at CHN, because we're a federally qualified health center, we always been very into integrating everything. We know that every single aspect of your life, for example, if you're homeless, it would affect your mental health. It will affect your medical, your dental, everything. So because it affects, so everything in your life will affect your body, your mind, everything. That's why do you guys think that during and this is it was shocking to me because I remember go I go to I'm in a graduate program, right? And these are people that are already working in hospitals, that are already, big names. They did not know what social determinants of health was until the pandemic. Why? Because so many people started having financial problems. So many people were, how am I going to pay rent? How am I going to get food? How am I going to, my job, they let me go. All these things. I'm sick. I have a family member that died, and then another family member, and then a friend, and now someone in my community, in my church. This is why social determinants of health made a big impact. But the thing is, we were already doing social determinants of health from like 5 years ago that I started here. And this is how everything affects your mind and body. So, this is that holistic point of view. And I think we're going to see that more coming.
Absolutely. I think COVID and the whole pandemic kind of showed us the real importance of health and mental health, especially. Everybody had struggled through this time. So that just teaches us that we have to constantly take care of our health, whether it's your body, your mind. You have to keep up with it because it will show up later in a worse circumstances for you.
That's a great point. Keeping up with your health. So here a couple of tips to kind of manage your negative thoughts and emotions and keep up with that. Because daily, it is I really have to stress it is something you have to do daily. This is kind of a new thing, which to many people it will be a new thing enacting these kind of things. Um, you'll feel great for like the first few days, and then you kind of fall off. It's like working out, and then things start to kind of get back to mush, and you're like, what happened? So gratitude, and gratitude is just having appreciation for the small things in life. Things go wrong all the time, every day for me, and it can be difficult to kind of remember the small things and be appreciative of those little things. So like the small things like maybe just having gas in your car, especially these days. Maybe even having a car. Just the smallest things, having a roof over your head, and not acknowledging what you're going through, but just kind of being grateful for what you do have, and you'll start to feel better relatively quickly. And that's something you have to maintain and do kind of daily, every day. And accepting how you feel in the moment, accept whatever is bothering you in that moment, and take it for what it is, and kind of have that growth mindset that it won't be like that forever. Everything passes eventually. And those are some tips for how to manage your negative thoughts and emotions. And that concludes this week's podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in this week.